Title: She saved little baby from train accident unaware their mom is one of the richest women in world. Nurse Clara was rushing to the hospital for her shift that morning, unaware of the tragedy that was awaiting her, an event that would change the course of her life forever. The train station was busy as usual, filled with the low hum of morning conversations, the rustling of newspapers, the clack of heels, and the distant echo of approaching trains. People moved with purpose, some in suits, others in scrubs like her. Some were seated, hunched over phones or sipping coffee, while others moved in brisk strides across the platform. It was just another weekday morning in the city. That was when she saw it. A stroller moving slowly, too slowly to cause alarm but just fast enough to raise a question in her mind. Nurse Clara paused mid-step, her gaze narrowing. The baby stroller was inching forward, rolling away from a distracted young mother fumbling with her purse and phone. At first, Clara thought the woman had noticed and would reach for it. But as the seconds passed, Clara's instincts stirred. The woman didn't see it. The stroller was getting closer, closer to the edge of the platform, where the warning lines marked danger. Time dilated. Clara dropped her coffee without even realizing it. The paper cup tumbled to the ground, splashing onto the cold cement as her feet sprang into motion. The chaos of the morning fell silent in her ears. The world blurred except for the single image ahead of her, the stroller with the tiny baby inside rolling toward the abyss. A distant horn cut through the noise. The train was coming. People on the platform started to react. Some gasped, others froze, a few screamed. But Clara was already running. Her nursing bag slammed against her side, and her heart thundered in her chest. She didn't hesitate. She didn't think. She just ran. The wheels of the stroller were now inches from the edge when Clara dove forward. Her body hit the ground hard, but her hands reached the stroller just in time. With every ounce of strength she had, she yanked it backward, her knees scraping the gravel as she slid to a halt. A second later, the train blasted past with a deafening roar. Wind and dust whipped around her. The platform shook, metal shrieked, but the baby was safe. There was stunned silence. Clara looked up into the wide, tear-filled eyes of the mother, now frozen in place, her mouth slightly open. Then she rushed forward and collapsed beside her child, grabbing the baby from the stroller and holding him tightly against her chest. The mother wept, her entire body trembling as she clutched her child like she would never let go again. Clara sat up, her breathing heavy but steady. She ignored the sting in her knees and the scratch on her elbow. Her only concern was the child. Gently, she placed 2 fingers against the baby's neck. Pulse steady, eyes alert but confused, breathing normal. "He's okay. He's fine," she said softly, offering a calm smile to the distraught mother. "He's going to be okay." The woman nodded, unable to speak, still caught in the whirlwind of shock and overwhelming relief. People on the platform slowly began to move again, some clapping, others still staring in disbelief. But Clara didn't wait for applause. She rose quietly, adjusted her coat, picked up her bag, and turned to go. She had a shift to catch at the hospital, lives to care for, and this moment, was just something she believed anyone would have done. She vanished into the crowd like a ghost, leaving only the memory of a heroic blur. What Nurse Clara didn't know, what she couldn't possibly have known, was that the woman she had just saved was not just any mother. She was Isabella Langford. The Isabella Langford, the CEO of Langford Global Technologies, innovator, billionaire, one of the most powerful women on the planet. Her face graced the covers of Forbes and Time. Her name opened doors in Silicon Valley and humanitarian circles alike. She commanded boardrooms and inspired global movements. Yet in that moment on that platform, she had not been a mogul or a visionary. She had been a mother on the edge of unspeakable loss, and someone had saved her. Isabella held her baby tighter and looked around the platform, searching for the nurse. But she was gone, not even a name. The moment would haunt her, in a good way. It would move her in a way no board meeting or billion-dollar deal ever had. Back in the VIP train lounge, Isabella rocked her child and replayed the scene over and over in her mind. She could see the nurse's eyes, steady, focused, kind. She remembered the way she had assessed the baby without panic, how she had offered no demand for praise, how she had walked away as if it was nothing at all. But it wasn't nothing. It was everything. By the time she reached her estate later that morning, she had made up her mind. She would find this woman, this Nurse Clara, and thank her, not with just words, not with money, but with something that would reflect the magnitude of what had been done. A life had been saved. Her life had changed, and someone needed to be honored for that. Meanwhile, Nurse Clara arrived at St. Augustine's General Hospital a few minutes late, still brushing dust from her coat. She didn't mention what had happened. She slid into her duties as though it had been an ordinary morning, charting patients, checking vitals, assisting with morning rounds. But something about her was quieter than usual. She kept replaying the moment in her mind, not out of fear but from a strange sense of stillness. For someone who had been through something so intense, she was remarkably composed. A fellow nurse, Jailer, noticed her limping slightly. "You all right?" she asked, eyebrow raised. "Yeah," Sarah said with a small smile. "Tripped on the platform. Nothing serious." Jailer nodded and moved on. That was Nurse Sarah, unshakable. But her unshakable nature masked something deeper. Later, in the break room, Sarah sat alone for a moment, sipping cold tea and staring out the window. The image of the baby's face stayed with her. The pure innocence, the near miss, the weight of what could have been. She didn't say the baby because she wanted to be a hero. She didn't act because she was brave. She acted because she couldn't not act. Because that was who she was, a nurse. A protector of life, whether in a hospital or on a train platform. Back at Isabella's estate, however, things were far from quiet. Security footage was pulled. The transit authority was contacted. Through camera angles and timestamps, Isabella's team narrowed down the possible hospitals where the nurse could have come from, scrubs, badge color coding. One by one, they called each nearby hospital, describing the woman in the footage, seeking someone who matched her description. It didn't take long. Sarah Evans, nurse, age 27, graduate of a state medical college, employed full-time at St. Augustine's. No social media presence beyond a dormant profile. No desire for fame. Just work, dedication, and compassion. Isabella smiled when she heard the name. She would go herself. No cameras. No press. Just a mother who needed to look into the eyes of the woman who had saved her child and say thank you. A quiet Tuesday afternoon at St. Augustine's General Hospital. The usual chorus of beeping machines and soft soles against polished floors filled the hallways. Nurses hustled in and out of patient rooms with the precision of a well-rehearsed ballet. Amid it all, Nurse Sarah moved through the ward with her usual poise, clipboard in hand, hair pulled back into a bun, her name tag slightly tilted but visible. She had just checked on a post-op patient and was jotting notes in a chart when she heard someone clear their throats softly behind her. She turned around. A woman stood there, tall, elegant, with auburn hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders, dressed in a simple beige coat and holding a baby boy snug against her chest in a designer sling. The woman seemed almost out of place in the sterile, practical world of the hospital. "Why?" "Excuse me," the woman said, her voice warm but controlled. "Are you Nurse Sarah Evans?" Sarah blinked. "Yes, I am. How can I help you?" The woman exhaled as if releasing a burden she'd been carrying all day. "I've been looking for you." Sarah's brow furrowed. "Have we met?" The woman smiled, though her eyes glistened. "I'm Isabella Langford." Sarah paused, the name floating somewhere in the back of her mind. It took a moment, but then the pieces clicked into place. The baby stroller, the edge of the platform, the rushing train, and the woman who had wept on the ground afterward, holding her baby like he was a whole world. Sarah's eyes widened slightly. "Oh yes." Isabella nodded gently. "That morning at the station, you saved my son." The hallway seemed to grow quieter around them. Sarah shook her head. "I just reacted. I'm glad he's okay."